There are over 50 neighborhoods listed within the Cincinnati city limits. Some of them are a little rough.
You're lying, and I know you're lying.
Okay, some of them are very rough.
There you go.
So if you're new to the city, it can get a little confusing trying to figure out which areas are good, which areas are bad, where to live, where not to live. So I'm going to help you out with this video. We are talking about the top 11 most dangerous neighborhoods in Cincinnati, Ohio. Let's get into it right now. What's up? It's Victor Pham, your Cincinnati realtor. Like always, we're talking about all things Cincinnati. We're talking about all things related to real estate in Cincinnati. On this channel, you will learn everything you need to know about living in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is the only channel you need when it comes to information about living in and moving to Cincinnati, Ohio, or any of the Cincinnati suburbs. So please consider subscribing if you think that might help you out in your journey. Okay, this is part 2. I did a video similar to this, I think a couple years ago. We're gathering data again from the City of Cincinnati site, which does report crimes as they are reported to them. I believe it is affiliated with the police department. This is the most up-to-date data that I could find when trying to zero in on specific neighborhoods of Cincinnati. I'll leave a link for you in the description below if you want to verify for yourself. We're going to list these based on the reported crimes, more specifically violent and property crimes, because that's what most people pay attention to. And even more specifically, the crimes that have occurred so far this year in 2024. And again, this is reported crimes only, because if it wasn't reported, then it didn't happen, right? Right. Number 11 is Winton Hills, aka Winton Terrace, which is the name that most people know this area by, Winton Terrace. Located right outside the communities of Carthage and Elmwood, essentially right in the middle of the city, Winton Terrace is a massive housing project providing housing for thousands of subsidized housing tenants through Cincinnati's CMHA housing program, more commonly known as Section 8. I think Winton Terrace does comprise most of the Winton Hills area, aside from maybe a few dozen single-family homes nestled back in the hills adjacent to Winton Terrace. Actually, some of those houses up there are pretty private and pretty nice homes. I remember looking at a few with a client a while back this year alone, and it's the end of May right now, so I'll be dropping this video in June. Basically, the first half of 2024, there have been 190 reported crimes in Winton Hills. 81 of them were either violent or property crimes. Number 10 on the list is College Hill, not North College Hill, just regular College Hill, which is just south of North College Hill and about 8 miles from downtown Cincinnati. And actually for me, it's a little upsetting to see College Hill on this list because I feel like it's a really high potential area, kind of suburban, and a really popular place for a lot of first-time home buyers. This year so far in College Hill, 213 crimes reported, 114 of those were violent and or property crimes. Number 9 is Mount Airy. Mount Airy is about 8 miles from downtown Cincy, located actually just outside of College Hill, which we just discussed, and also just south of the really nice area of White Oak. And I might make the educated assumption that a lot of the activity between Mount Airy and College Hill may be related, with them being so close to one another. This year so far, 217 crimes reported in Mount Airy, 107 of them violent or property crimes. By the way, guys, if you are moving to Cincy soon and you need help in the buying process, whether it's in a lower crime area or a higher crime area, feel free to reach out to me. I'm helping people buy and sell real estate in Cincinnati and the Cincinnati suburbs all the time. I'm sure I can help you too. Give me a call, shoot me a text, email, whatever works for you. I got your back. Number 8 on the list is Roselawn. I have helped a few clients in Roselawn in the past, and I can tell you this, it does have some really nice, quiet patches of homes. It's really close to the suburb of Gulf Manor, which is a great community. There is a strong demographic of older residents. Many are retired or going into retirement. Just some really nice little patches that are really clean and tight-knit streets. But then Roselawn also has its flaws too, obviously because it made this list. 243 crimes reported in Roselawn this year so far, 120 of them violent and or property crimes. Number 7 is Walnut Hills. This is a classic Cincy neighborhood in the heart of it all. Walnut Hills has some of the most eclectic architecture you will find in the city. There's actually a ton of development occurring in Walnut Hills and it has come a very long way. But there's still a good portion of Walnut Hills that still needs a lot of work to get it off of this list. 279 crimes reported. 156 of them were violent or property crimes. Number 6 is the West End. The West End is just outside of the downtown and OTR areas. Now it is becoming a more thriving area, especially since the construction of TQL Stadium over what used to be a mainly residential area. The construction of the soccer stadium unfortunately did disperse a lot of the locals and apparently did not solve the crime problem. 304 crimes reported in the West End, 152 of those violent and property crimes. Number 5 is downtown. Now downtown is mainly a business and tourist district, not really an ideal residential place. You may see a much heavier homeless concentration near downtown compared to other parts of the city. And there may be some correlation there with crime, I'm not sure. I will say this on the topic of homelessness in Cincinnati, it is much less prevalent than you may see in bigger cities like LA and New York. Nonetheless, in downtown, 351 crimes reported, 214 of them violent and property crimes. Number 4 is Over the Rhine, also called OTR. Now OTR is making the list again, which is a shame because there has been a ton of work done to the OTR district to revive it. And it is now indeed a thriving area, much better than it has been in recent decades. But still a lot of room for improvement in OTR. 380 crimes reported, violent and property crimes, 241. Number 3 on the list is Avondale. Avondale is a super high traffic area, being really close to the Cincinnati Zoo and also being really close to the bustling hospital zone near Vernon Avenue and that Clifton area. Avondale is another area that has a long way to go. It has its pros and cons, but it remains one of the rougher areas in Cincinnati. 471 crimes reported total, violent and property crimes, 225. Number 2 is Westwood. Westwood is the most populated neighborhood in Cincinnati with close to 40,000 residents. Westwood offers, like a lot of places in Cincinnati, a mixture of good and bad. You got some really nice patches of homes tucked away in some private patches. Then you get a lot of rough places when you get out towards the main roads. I always say I have a love-hate relationship with Westwood. Then there's a lot of folks that absolutely love it over there.
Laying down some rhymes for G-Fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Get in here!
West Side.
But we can't escape the numbers. This year so far in Westwood, 834 total crimes reported, violent and property crimes, 480. And number 1 on the list is Price Hill. We're talking both east, west, and lower Price Hill combined. Also close to the west side right there by Westwood. Honestly, I can't remember, at least in my lifetime, a time when Price Hill was considered a desirable place. Nobody's ever called me on the phone and said, Vic, hey, I want to settle down in Price Hill. Find me a house in Price Hill. It's never happened. A little over 1,000 crimes reported so far in Price Hill, 781 of them violent and property crimes, which is wild. Almost all of them are property or violence related. But if you're shopping areas and neighborhoods in Cincinnati for both good and bad, I hope that helps you understand a bit more about Cincinnati, Ohio. Feel free to reach out to me if you are moving to Cincy soon and you need help in that buying process. I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you. If you want to watch other helpful videos on what it's actually like living in Cincinnati, Ohio, check out these videos right here. I'll see you in the next video, and remember, when it comes to houses in Cincinnati, you can always call Vic.
West Side.